Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tracy. I can't wait to share the tutorial on this top, and it's actually a recreation of Miro Palais' top, and I'll insert a photo of it here. I think that's how you pronounce the name, but I might be wrong. I made it out of a silk cotton scarf, and I just love the vintage print of it. I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. Start by taking your scarf and just folding one corner down. And I measured out about 16 inches. That was my desired length. This scarf was slightly smaller than your normal square scarves. Normally they're about 45 to 60 inches. I definitely recommend to get a bigger one, but I figured out a way to make it work with this one. And I'm just marking where I need to cut the scarf so it's a perfect square. And I'm just slashing and tearing. And remember, you can only do this to certain fabrics. So I know I said I made it 16 inches, but then I realized I needed some more fabric for the straps because the other pieces were going to be for the back. So I'm just removing a little bit more, and then I actually end up with a 14-inch square. Sorry about that. So just fold your corner down and just have this diamond shape. And ignore my tape measure. I'm still measuring from 10 because it's the one I accidentally cut. You want to mark your center of the scarf, so I'm just finding the center of it and just doing a chalk line down the middle. So now you want to decide how far you want your straps to be at the front, and I wanted mine to be like 10 inches apart, so I measured 5 inches on each side of the center and just placed a pin. And from that strap point pin, I measure about 3.5 inches, so that's room for my underarm, and I just placed a pin. Next, I just took my ruler and just squared it off so I could get rid of some fabric and have less to work with. And when you square it off, just add 1/2 inch to that so you can have some seam allowance. At the strap point, you want to make a pleat towards the center, so it's going to be on the bias, and you're just going to take the strap point and then like a diagonal and see how you get like a nice roll. So you're just going to pleat towards the center, if that makes sense. And I'm just repeating it to the other side, and this is like a really small 1/4 inch pleat, so nothing too complex. And just pin it securely, and that's where your straps are going to be sewn later. So you want to measure from the bottom of your top to your side seam, and my measurement was about 6.5 inches. So I just mark that, and I connect the armhole pin to that mark and just draw a diagonal line. Repeat to the other side and take it to your sewing machine. You want to stitch on the size stitch 5 because you're going to want to gather this, and don't back tack. So stitch on that line. As you can see, the right side is how you want it to look gathered, and excuse my phone charger, I didn't realize it was in the frame. And you want to mark 2 inches from that stitch line at the bottom, and this is going to be your 1-inch pleat. So you're going to fold it down and just pin. And now you can pull on the back thread of that stitch and just start gathering the rest of the fabric. I gathered until my side seam was about 4 inches. And now I'm just lining up my ruler to the diagonal of the scarf and just making sure I add seam allowance to the side seam, so just trim away. It's starting to look like a bandana top now. So you want to take your leftover scrap, and these were just like the rectangles I had left over from tearing in the beginning, and I made sure they were the same length, so I ended up with 22-inch rectangles by 7 inches. I need to make 2 triangles for the back of this top, so I just cut a diagonal and connect from opposite corners, so just cutting a diagonal line. and then I'm just going to pin and sew these triangle wedges, and you can see I get like a full triangle. I chose to overlock my seams just because it was easier, and you can just do this with your regular sewing machine and do a straight stitch and zigzag your ends. I decided to not hem my pieces just because I really liked the frayed edge the original scarf had, so I just kind of continued that throughout the whole scarf. You want to square off your triangle, so just to make sure it has a perfect side seam, and you want to repeat this to the other piece, and you want to gather that to 4 inches and then just line up right sides together and sew at the side seam of your bandana top and just stitch it down. And I trim and overlock my seam allowance and push it towards the ties in the back, and I just do an understitch, so I stitch really close to that seam and just top stitch it down. And now it's time to make spaghetti. So I have 1.5 inch strips cut out, and they were about 17 inches long, and I'm just overlocking them and turning them inside out. If you need an in-depth tutorial on spaghetti, I can link it. And I just attach my rings and slides, and I make little like 1.5 inch tabs for the loops, and I'll also link a tutorial on how to do the straps. And you just want to stitch at your strap point and stitch the loop at your side seam, and you have your top. I hope you all can create this reversible top, and thank you guys so much for watching.